Tony Kwalanda. At this time, is when, of course, we want to get into and delve deeper into this conversation about the crisis that motorsport is currently in. And crises are important in any sector in this country. And that's why we have mechanisms of resolving crises and finding solutions out of it. And that's why this particular afternoon I have the chairman of Kenya Motorsport Federation, Mr. Maina Muturi. It's nice to see you. Karibu sana to TV47 studios. I'm glad you can enjoy the humongous room and the beautiful air of this size of this town.
Thank you, Tony.
Karibu sana.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah, fresh air.
Karibu sana.
Yeah.
Let's just get into it. Yesterday, I would call them stakeholders, Maina, chairman. And I don't know, please guide me on how I should call you. I want to call you chairman.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chairman, yesterday there was a meeting by some of the stakeholders in motorsport.
Yeah.
Some people, some officials who are in Kenya Motorsport Federation, who have also resigned from Kenya Motorsport Federation, who are drivers in the Kenya Motorsport, of course, in this particular sector. These are serious people who issued a statement about a new body, a new motorsport body that is out to get KMSF out of the way. Is that the case?
Well, thanks, Tony. Like you said, we've been in this crisis.
Yes.
But first, I want to wish our team God Mahia today in the game, and also Karan Patel, who is in Burundi for the ARC Championship.
True.
And what Farouk and everybody knows, and Gishu has said today, sports, and especially for you youth, is the one that unites us together.
True.
Eliud Kipchoge says impossible is nothing. And in that spirit, I sit here with that mindset of the youth,
Yes.
not just in athletics, but in motorsport as well. And there has been a lot of dissatisfaction with the way that things have been running.
Yes.
I became the chairman end of last year, November, and I'll come to your question.
Yes.
And as Tony, as you can remember, many years ago, I was the chairman of that federation.
Yes.
It's on record that I won the Sawyer Awards as the best run federation.
Yes.
With people like Jim Heather Hayes, with a gentleman called Archie Khan, and we had goodwill even from corporate sponsorship like SAB. So and then after that, of course I stayed off to allow other people also the opportunity.
Yes.
And then towards last year, through my club, East African Motorsports Club, I started going back to the board of KMSF. And when I inherited, and I'll come to that later.
Yes.
There was just so many things that needed to be done.
Yes.
Both sporting and non-sporting. And I felt, let me start with non-sporting, and then we go to sporting. I'll come back now to answer your question, then I'll come back to my story.
Yes.
Yes, there was that press conference. If, especially you young parents, if over and over, your kids are not doing well in a particular school, you have tried to engage the teachers, you have tried to engage the board of directors of that school, and every year the report is a failure. In discipline. What do you do with your children? You move them to another school where they can excel in their career.
Sure.
This is what is happening. Young drivers, and I really speak for the voiceless of 8 to 16-year-old, young drivers. The house is collapsing. The kids are failing in that school. So what are the parents saying? Let's transfer them. Let's even start another school and see how it will work. So that has been the process, and that's the message they are sending across. So it is correct. There is a new sporting federation that we pray and hope could be the alternative for better results for our youth.
And I saw a letter that was by the general manager of KMSF, that's Maura Njuguna. I'd sent a letter to the Register of Sports and I think also to the Ministry of Sports saying that they are still. Where do you see this fight going? Because you see now there is this new, of course, I know there are grievances you have gone through, which you will share with us why you actually reached that particular decision. And then we have the people in office who are saying, we are here.
total confusion, total created confusion. The structure of KMSF is a limited company.
Yes.
With limited liability, and it has 15 directors who are the shareholders. From a sporting point of view, KMSF Limited is what we call the ASN holder in the eyes of FIA. Having said that, then there was, remember, the Sports Act,
Yes.
which every sporting club and each federation was supposed to be in compliance with the Sports Act. So a new federation, people think through what I've just said earlier, and they felt, let's create a new federation. And they go and present their papers as per the law, not as per anybody else. As per the Sports Act, they present their papers to the registrar of the Sports Act. And at that time, the general manager, and on a light touch, he's calling himself the CEO now, after the alleged scoop of August 28th, writes a letter to sports registrar. First saying the obvious is they're the SN holder, but they're not. They're not in compliance with the Sports Act. So in the eyes of the government, KMSF is a stranger. And he cannot stop or purport to stop a process of somebody else wanting to register a federation. Obviously, the technicalities in all this is FIA will only recognize one federation as FIA.
And that's the technicality. How are you going to go over it?
FIM, the Motorcycle Federation, will recognize one federation.
Okay.
So the letter, number one, was in good faith, or in bad faith, because, I mean, how can we be here in TV 47 talking about KTN? Absolutely not. Yeah, that's a body. It's a body. You are writing. You have no legitimacy to write to the registrar of companies, because you yourself, you cannot prefect anybody because you have not prefected yourself. You're not in compliance. And I'm glad, and I want to thank the Rose Wasike, the registrar of the Sports Act, because when she saw all that, and we had also given our letter as a federation earlier. When she looked at all that, she invited us for a candid talk. The same trouble you're going through in your head. Like King Solomon, I have this, I have this. Are we going to slice this child into two? Or do you find how we can save this child called motorsport in this country? And we had a conversation with her. Or, you know, even that Mora who wrote the letter was called, and each people presented their case, and now it will be looked at, merits and demerits of everything. We are in conversation with FIA, and I want to assure, I don't even know which side to look, whether they're watching me on this side. I want to assure Kenyans that this does not, the fear, the perception that is being created of WRC, this does not touch 2025 WRC. Why do I say this? Because WRC is a government project with a CEO who is appointed by the state, to run WRC. Any sporting federation in Kenya, be it the new one or the existing one, all they do is to issue a permit to the project as per the memorandum that we signed a couple of years ago with a project, WRC project, to run WRC. So technically, WRC is not run by the Kenya Motorsport Federation. We send a steward as a federation steward. The people, the structure, the officials are done by the CEO of Safari. So we had a good meeting with Rose, and in that, it's what you said earlier, how do we salvage this? How do we move forward?
Yes.
Tony, you and I are not bigger than motorsport in this country. The sport is bigger than each or any individual. And therefore, this is what we'll be finding the solution for the voiceless 8 to 14, 16-year-old young drivers. Yeah.
Indeed. Maina, Chairman, you are elected last year in November.
Yes.
What happened on the 28th of August? Was it 28th of August?
Of August, yeah.
Yes, 28th of August, because I hosted the alleged interim chairman of Kenya Motorsport Federation last week, and he said that there was something, you came in late for the meeting, so the director had the obligation and duty to elect someone to lead them at that particular board of directors meeting, would you please shed light on really, was it a coup? Was it
or alleged coup?
What was that? What happened?
You know, Tony, first that 5 minutes late, Article 15 of our memorandum is very clear. You can be 15 minutes late. Window of lateness is 15 minutes. So number one, I was not late, 15 minutes. But I just want to go back when I was elected.
Yes.
Towards the end of November last year. Jim ran against me in that particular meeting. He got 1 vote, and I won him. And the 2 previous days, he was, campaigning everywhere, talking to that direction we voted in. I inherited a federation that had not had an AGM in 7 years. No accounts were there in 7 years. That's, and I'm going to be very careful with the language that I use.
Yes.
And this is what I got. From staff administration, the staff had not gone for leave 4 to 5 years. From an accounting point of view, there was really, except for the recurrent expenditure, the federation had no money. You couldn't even be able to pay for a KMSF steward to go to an event. It was just no money. So corporate companies like SEB, just to name, and I'm not scared of naming them, had pulled out of KMSF. Reason, transparency, and accountability. So when I say I, not just I alone, I don't want to give myself the I credit. With the team that was focused, we're looking at this is what we have inherited. People had tried to call for meetings. Within 45 days, I had the AGM done. AGM. Now we're trying to update accounts 7 years backwards. Over 50% of the people had not been there before. So they're also strangers to these accounts that have been pending for this period of time. And we agreed, which was unethical, maybe unprofessional, that Phineas and Jim sign off the accounts and we move on. And the accounts are signed off to the auditor, just to move on that. And we started looking now, we look at the secretariat. We would try and knock doors of companies that had walked out of us. Just a bad name. Bad name. Then, interesting, Tony, when you look at the CR12, the last time a CR12, a return had been done was 2003 of a limited company.
Wow.
When you looked at the bank account signatories, and I'll mention this as much as you want to mention his name, Mr. J.S. Bora's name still appeared, and still appears as we speak to you today, as an account signatory of KMSF 6-7 years ago when he passed on. So there was a lot of mess, and we needed to clean our house even before we go out there. I try to update. You have a federation, you have a general manager who does not even prepare annual accounts. And I can tell you, we are in 2024. Since end of last year, can you prepare your projected accounts for the federation? 0. Of course, he's answerable to a different team of people. He doesn't, even up to today, he doesn't answer to me. So we're trying to clean up. And the next thing we did was of course not to form the commissions, the ones that have been resigning.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, the directors are policy making. The sporting side is by the commissions. So I can say I'm the driver, but who is my co-driver calling the notes? Is the members of the Rally Commission, the Out of Cross Commission, all those. And we had to reappoint a fresh team. Of course, we also took some of the old members, just to make a cocktail. And we said we're also going to be gender, color, everything inclusive, so that we could look and give them a 2-year term, so that the chairman of the Rally Commission is able to plan for the next 2 years. And don't forget also when at that time, which is still the case now, Rally had gone down 6 entries, 4 entries. A organizing club is forced to cancel an event, because we canceled the last event because we didn't have entries. When you do a calculation, you have no sponsorship, you've got a bad name. What do? You can't run the event and it's cancelled. So we renewed, we didn't create because it was always there, the new members of the Sporting Commission to look and plan for the way forward. You asked me what happened on August 28th. The other thing also, there were no regular meetings. So we said we'll be doing quarterly meetings.
Yeah.
If there's an emergency or a need, we'll call for a meeting. And in order for the minutes to be recorded clearly, other than us scribbling in the next meeting matters arising, the company secretary will be taking the minutes. They'll be calling for the meeting and the order. And if you have an agenda that you want discussed, you're given a window to send it to the company secretary. So everything was a meeting, a normal board meeting on August 28th, called for with the agenda by the company secretary. I got there. I'll cut this story because it's a long story.
Yeah, you cut it just before, because if it's longer, I'll want to cut it short so I don't...
No, I don't want to cut, I don't make it longer. I'll just, let's say I'll cut this, if you allow me. So, I mean, I got there 5 minutes late. And by the time I got there, the company secretary was not even there. Yeah? And who was sitting in the chairman's chair? Jim Kahumbura. And one of the directors called me, Mal, asked Jim, the chairman is here, can you move the chair? He said, I'm looking at my papers and I'm moving. Then all of a sudden he said he's not moving. In that room, each shareholder, each club is entitled to one director. 2 directors from his club, 2 directors from the East African Classic as well, and 2 directors, Phineas and another lady from their club. Just protocol. And then the company secretary joined 7 minutes later. They came in, they were told to get out. The meeting was never called to order. So this thing about when I came here, I signed at the gate that I've entered. But you know, Tony, I could have come in and gone out. That doesn't give me an attendance here.
All right. I will want to delve much into that just in a bit, because I would want to understand those minutes, times, and technicalities that were used to oust or to kick you out of office. I'm using, forgive me for using those because we are sports.
Use them, Tony.
But we're taking a very short break right now. And of course, Chairman will be able to tell us why the sport has gone down in terms of entries and why these commissions and commissioners and rally officials are resigning en masse and what the way forward in terms of sport. That will be coming up after this break. Come back. This is Sports Extravaganza. We are live only on this great station. It's nice to have you. My name is Tony Kwalanda. I've been here, of course, for the last 30 or so minutes with the chairman of Kenya Motors Federation, sharing and, of course, discussing a conversation about the crisis that we have in motorsport. I love motorsport personally. I have watched and been part of motorsport. In fact, I'm a stakeholder. Even I'm not affiliated to Kenya Motorsport Federation, I'll try and affiliate to the new federation. But of course, we have the chairman, Maina Muturi here, of Kenya Motors Federation, to share with us what is happening, where are we, and where can we be in the next few days or years or months. And that's why we're asking you in our question of the day this particular afternoon. What is ailing motorsport in Kenya? You as a viewer, as a fan, as a stakeholder, wherever you are, what is ailing motorsport in Kenya? Share with us the question you can see, or you can share on WhatsApp. Share a 20-second WhatsApp video clip with your name and, of course, your answer. Let me also look at you can call us. Let me read the number, 0795 045 864. Calling is 0795 045 864. Call us in live. WhatsApp number is 0793 nangoja hiyo WhatsApp ikuja, but of course you can call us in live. But the WhatsApp number is 0793 267 279. 0793 267 279 is the WhatsApp number. Send a 20-second WhatsApp video clip of what you think is ailing motorsport in Kenya. Join the conversation, talk to us. The chairman is here. Tutakusikiza. We shall be able, of course, to share also your views on this great show. And also, as you share it, I normally give away free airtime to those who send WhatsApp videos. We are here, we just select, we play them, air them, and send you airtime. Just like that. Uliona wapi, ulisikia wapi, only on this great show. Chairman, sorry to interrupt you when you're actually sharing something about the meeting and the lateness You found a chairman there, alleged interim. How did you solve it? It's
Well,
not solved, actually. It's not even solved.
It's not even solved in a way.
Yes.
You know, like I said, you know, we are a limited company by guarantee. I'm there 5 minutes late. Allowance is 15 minutes late. The meeting is called for by the company secretary, and you know, the proper corporate company is for the company secretary to call the meeting to order, so that the meeting can be called to order to start. Yeah, Eva was more than 15 minutes late for the sake of this discussion, and the company secretary was there already, and everybody. The board can appoint a chairman to sit for that meeting. I'm on Langata Road. I have one of those days, 2 punches. I'm late. You cannot hold everyone back. The board appoints or votes for someone to chair the meeting. That was not the case.
Chair the meeting.
To chair that particular meeting.
Not to call themselves chairman and send letters around.
Interim chairman for that meeting. And you find even some parastatals that don't have a chairman, you know, chairman, but there's a board. They elect one of the board members to sit for that parastatal meeting for that day. That's what happens. I was not late. The company secretary came after me.
Yes.
The meeting was never called to order. Then you're finding there's a chairman, there's a member from his club, the alternative director already there, and you're trying to address the man sitting on the chair to get out. Everyone is shouting. Everyone is shouting. You know, there's Article 23 and 46 in the articles, and some of the things you have to read them together. You can just pick and read one.
Yes.
An AGM, if you're in arrears, you cannot attend an AGM. This was not an AGM. It was a board meeting. I had a board meeting in February. My club had paid even in September last year, and we kept on, I don't know, Tony, whether I can say a wolf is a wolf, because they kept on saying you have not paid, you have not paid, you have not paid. Fine. We have the receipt, we have the person who paid. I'm talking about my club, and that applies to other clubs as well.
Yeah, there was something, allegation about not paying,
Exactly. And a form, a return that we had already done with the, we had, my club had an AGM this year, so the form had been done by the old board, and it was there. You know, if you had been appointed by the previous government as an employee, the new government comes in, you're not in the cabinet, you continue your work regardless of which government was there. So the man sitting on the chair, who is not even the chairman, company secretary comes in, they are thrown out. Next, this and these people have not paid. So I remember asking, Jim, first, you're not supposed to be sitting there. Secondly, which clubs have not paid? We would like to pay now. We'd like to pay now. The room, I want to call him, his group is shouting everywhere. We want to pay now.
Chairman, there's a caller, as you just went.
Oh, there's a caller.
Yes. Karibu kwa Sports Extravaganza. What's your question or what is your take on what's ailing motorsport? Karibu Sports Extravaganza. This is Tony speaking, TV47. What is ailing motorsport? What is your take on that? Okay. We lost, we were actually getting a call from Meru. John, habari yako? Okay. Sorry to interrupt, Chairman.
Come back to that.
It's very important. Must have been a stakeholder from Meru.
And you said, if people want to be the instruments of peace, who has not paid? How much? And I recall, personally, I and Bimal going to our phones. What is it? How much? We wanted to pay on the spot. And it's what you said, what is ailing motorsport? If that, by paying then, we'll pay, and the meeting continues as per norm to try and develop this. But one gentleman from there, who was not even supposed to be there in the first place, said, this is not a bank. We're not taking payments. I don't know who, and we're not taking payment. So Tony, you're being told in arrears. You're saying, okay, I'll pay now. There's nothing that says that you should pay 7 days or 2 days or 30 minutes before the meeting. Thrown. But you could see the intention. I mean, it's
clear.
You don't have to be dumb not to see this was a premeditated thing, and the way they were shouting. So we looked, the company secretary has been thrown out, so the meeting has not been called to order. You are not ordered. Meru, 30,000, we got to pay on the spot. They had a letter appointing one of the gentlemen to sit in for that meeting. He was told he needs to be cleared. Things that we've never done. So it's like, you're playing 15 rugby, 15 rugby. You go on halftime. When you come back, the referee says we've changed this to 7-a-side. Within 90 minutes, huh? You guys were playing 15 players. You go to the locker rooms, come back. This is what was happening. So we said, fine. We're back to Jim has been there for donkey years. And I'm sorry to talk about Jim because his son was riding with my son. Son is like my son.
Yes, the other.
That puts me in an awkward position, but this is where we are. It's called a spade a spade.
Nothing personal, it's business.
Nothing personal. 21 years has been there. So we said, you know what, Jim? The days of threatening people, directors, and they're there, and I'll name them, people like Mark Dewberry, being threatened with work permits and everything, being threatened by Mungik, that Mungik will be called for you. All that nonsense is coming back. And Bimal said, you know what? We are not going to allow this to happen. Motorsport is dying. So we had a choice, Tony. We start throwing chairs on each other, like what used to happen in City Hall, or become gentlemen and walk out. It was a board meeting, not an AGM. So the issue of payment, whether you're in arrears or not. In February, I told clubs under the current economic status,
yes,
those who are in arrears,
yes,
some had a little big arrears, do a payment plan because you're not going anywhere, you'll be here. And they were even allocated,
yes,
events,
yes,
and they're in arrears because you're legitimate and you improve. We're supposed to be a team. So we realized this is going on. This is a mindset
that has not been put.
That is there.
We have some
and we walked out.
We have some from Kampala, Maina. Sam, habari yako?
Hello.
Sam, good afternoon. This is Tony Kwalanda on Sports Extravaganza.
Yes, Tony.
I am with the chairman of the Kenya Motorsport Federation. My name is Tony Kwalanda. Niko na chairman wa Kenya Motorsport Federation. Welcome to the show. What is your take on what is ailing motorsport in Kenya now that you're in Uganda?
Thanks, Tony. My name is Ham. I think for me, what is happening in Kenya right now, the biggest challenge you're having is people who are running KMSF currently, yes, are greedy people.
Greedy. Explain.
Yes. They have decided they are running the federation and the sport like they are running their home businesses, where you find they are instating people into offices of which these people have to respond to individuals. So they're not doing things for the sport, they are doing things for individuals, and that's what is taking Kenya Motorsport down.
All right. So how does Uganda Motorsport run? Is it do you have problems or you're okay?
No, Uganda Motorsport, no. Tony, there are problems everywhere, but what is happening in Kenya is beyond problems. It's too much. Okay. People speak out, they are threatened.
Yes.
People try to voice out what they are seeing is a problem. They put them on threats, which is wrong.
Yes.
I've personally been attacked by people that I won't mention names here, but okay, Maina knows because we follow whatever happens.
Don't mention names that are not here, but you can say.
Yeah, that's why I say I will not mention names. But what I'm saying is,
yes,
people should learn to work for the sport. The sport has stakeholders. You need to listen to people. If you're coming out to attack drivers like a person like Ian Duncan, we know how long Ian Duncan has been into the sport.
He's a rally legend, yes.
Exactly. So if you're having people in offices that are coming down to attack people like Ian Duncan, then really, would that really make sense?
Okay.
So people in offices in KMSF currently are greedy people who are self-motivated to do things for individuals, not for the sport.
Okay.
So the new organization we want, the Motorsport Association of Kenya, is
yes,
to bring.
Yes. Okay. Sam, thank you. Sam from Kampala, chairman. We have we have one of our neighbors looking inside towards us, and they can see our problem from
outside, yeah.
from outside.
Yeah,
there.
well,
It is bad with the resignations, with
yeah.
Chairman.
I mean, Tony, as I was telling you, I mean, we walked out. We walked out in protest. Majority of us walked out. The ones who are absent also did letters or emails to say they agree with the walkout in protest of total impunity of that August 28 meeting. The company secretary walked out. 2 days later, they resigned. Immediately after that, the following week, you have seen massive resignations of commissions. What does it tell you that, you know, you and I have a ruling political party, if so to say? Yeah? Next week, our key members, our Secretary General, our national chairman, they are all walking out in a group. Yesterday, last Saturday, you're told that it's the chairmen who are resigning. It's a whole commission. And I'm glad it's mentioned someone like Ian Duncan was in the Raleigh Commission, who, you know, one of the most respectable persons. He resigned as well. So this is what happened. We walked out. They made a press release, 2 press releases. One that Jim Kahumbura was elected as the interim chairman. You saw that because it came to you as well. Then the second one they wrote to FIA saying that Jim Kahumbura was elected as a chairman. One was reading interim, one was reading a chairman. That's neither here nor there. The key thing, you're driving a car with a fake logbook, you sell it to me, you sell it to him, it remains fake, fake, fake. At the end of the day, even if it's a fifth buyer, when the original owner comes, he'll take it. All the things they are doing are based on a fake, impunity meeting of August 28th. And I'm glad, you know, the people of Uganda have seen it. They went through that storm. And you keep on asking, what is ailing? Let me tell you, you get medicine written best before a certain date.
Yeah.
After that, it's expired.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we are doing that are happening at KMSF should have been done best before a certain date. And now they have expired, and people are still taking them as a prescription. And what are you doing as a result? You're killing the sport of 16-year-old children. Next year, Mercedes is replacing Hamilton with an 18-year-old driver. 18-year-old Mercedes. Over here, what are we doing? We are killing
the young person.
The under 18.
Yeah, there was that
for no
issue.
reason at all, and they are voiceless.
There was that issue. What happened? That the young ones who were in a nutshell. I know there was something.
Let's even start with the growth. I mean, look at FIA stars. Good cars, everything. Those cars, if you see them today, and Tony, later I'll show you the photos. They look like, with all due respect to Kariobangi junkyards, they look like cars in a junkyard in Kariobangi. They cannot move. What was the intention of those cars? Was to develop the youth to the next stages. WRC doesn't want to hear anything about that, but the whole thing was just a scam that we did in this country. Money disappeared, everything disappeared. What happened to these kids, the young adults in autocross? They have been driving in a certain category, in a nutshell. Yes. They wanted to move to a certain category. The chairman and his commission of the autocross asked them to put it to put it in writing, a dispensation.
Yes.
One of the things is they have to vet them for safety for those particular drivers, safety for the other drivers, safety for the officials and the spectators, safety for the sport. And they went step by step. And they issued. And somebody will come here and argue that they had no right to issue a dispensation. It's been done before. They issued a dispensation. We are together.
Yes.
To ride or to drive in a certain category that starts from 18 years old and not 16. But they had been checked and vetted for safety. That's the most important thing. And they've been driving even before. The next thing, done, written, given dispensation. They're in that category. Maybe the only error that a bulletin was never issued. and bullet was never issued. But you know, Tony, the referee does not give everybody a red card. You make a fault, you're given a yellow card. There's a system.
Yes.
Yeah. And you need to ask yourself, I'm not entertaining impunity. You need to ask yourself, how are you helping them? You give them a yellow card and tell them this. The next thing, the result, they're not scoring. Is the chairman of the Autocross Commission, or did the general manager write to the chairman of the Autocross Commission to tell him we are not giving points for the following reasons? Nothing. It's back to impunity, what is ailing motorsport.
Yep.
They're under 18, so I'll say the parents, on their behalf, the guardians, did an appeal as the appellants on behalf of the minors. In our structure, we have an appeals board on record. In the same commotion, the chairman of the Motorsports Council is trying to create another appeals board, another commission, and he wants to be the secretary of that. And he's an interested party. And I stepped in as a chairman and I said, no, the appeals board will run with this. And there was someone, including myself, someone, not invite, someone, anyone they feel is relevant to resolving this case in the most amicable way, resolving the issue. And I did a letter to the council members and the directors after 2 weeks of push and pull, and for what reason of the push and pull. And I said, this is appeals board, is there independent? They listened to that, were a bit frustrated to get the documents by the secretariat, but they went, and I want to give them a lot of credit. They went step by step, summoning anyone that was relevant to resolving the issue. August 1st, they made a ruling. And they made a ruling in favor of the appellants.
Yes.
And they communicated the same ruling to the appellants and to the director. Tony, 2nd of August, a letter from the general manager, saying that the board has met and you have been fired at the appeals board. So I was the chairman, the other board members, so I called a few board members and said, did I miss something? Did I miss something here? Huh? And I know that week I had a patient. Did I miss some communication that there's another board of people that met and made and ratified this? Nobody knew. The general manager, with a few clownies, did a letter to and fired the appeals board. Reason, nothing. Reason is impunity because they made a judgment that a few individuals did see it favorable. And the only was to, we've never had boards, commissions being fired. And if they are, then there's a meeting of the board and it's minuted, and the people you're firing, as much as they are volunteers, when I say firing, because they're not employed, they don't pay NSSF for that. The people, the panel that has done that, you invite them, solving motorsport in this country, and telling them, gentlemen, please take us through your ruling, and justify why you got into this. If we feel that that ruling is a 50-50, we ask for a stay of order for that ruling as we examine. None of those happened. They were never given an opportunity, just fired. And the general manager has an order to say the board has decided. The board never decided. 3 people in the board sat in some kamukunji and decided. So this is what happened. We have killed the spirit of what the people in Wasingishu was talking about, what Eliud Kipchoge was talking about a few minutes ago. And they're going, they're not going to race anymore.
I've seen there's a mass exodus or resignation of, from what we've seen, of course, from the number of entries, as clearly we've mentioned, there have been few entries of motorsport events that are organized by specific clubs in the different regions in the country. 4 entries, 5 entries, 10 entries. Personally, when I came to motorsport, we had 80 entries. I think that was the minimum or something, but right now we don't have those. Chairman, are we facing a ban? Like in football, when we have all these wrangles, we face a ban. In motorsport, do we face a ban now that you're looking at the option of having another federation?
No.
What is the technicality here?
We're not facing a ban. Number one, it kills the spirit. Autocross has been doing pretty well with the young drivers. And these, for me, those are the ones in my net and in my heart. The Rally, Kenya National Rally Championship, it is more expensive. We must also admit that. And because of our reputation, we don't have any corporate sponsorship on board. The numbers we got in even when I took over, are the same numbers. We brought in the Clubman's Championship. Just come with your starlet as long as it's got a roll cage, minimum safety requirements, just to try and encourage people to enter. So my fear is not even so much KNRC of Ian Duncan, the older generation. That's not really my fear. My fear is these young people that we are destroying the future Ian Duncan, Patrick Njiro, that is Neil and a boy called Gashese. You saw Karan Patel. You and I started Karan Patel with you. Where? In Jamhuri.
Yes.
At Motocross.
Yes, yes.
Yeah? Riding a 65cc. What is he now? African
champion.
Because we nourished him. We walked with him on that journey. And there are so many Karan Patels that we can do. So from and I don't want to speak for FIA. Obviously,
in 20 seconds,
as a country, Kenya that has had a brand of motorsport from the old days of Safari Rally during the Queen's time, they are concerned that in this area is one of the biggest, growth is found here, and you find more young drivers in Kenya than in Uganda. There are more now in motocross, so they are concerned, and alternative dispute resolution is they're asking what can we do to solve the question you've been asking over and over: what is ailing motorsport? What do you want us to do as FIA so that there can be growth of the sport?
We are taking a very short break. I know this topic, you can take it for the entire day. We'll be back with more. Don't go away. Welcome. This is Sports Extravaganza. We are live. My name is Tony Kwalanda. We've been with you for the last an hour or so, with, of course, the chairman of the Kenya Motorsport Federation, Mr. Maina Muturi, discussing about what's ailing motorsport in Kenya. And that's, of course, our basis of our questions today. What is ailing motorsport in Kenya? You can be part of this conversation. Talk to us on our WhatsApp numbers. You can call us in live. The numbers are below your screen. Just as we are about to wind up, Chairman, any other pertinent issues, of course, that you had come to share? And also, what next? Just remember, what next? You've said you have this federation, you are all this. Yeah, just take it up for 10 minutes in the arc, because I know you have a lot of things. Because motorsport has, it's a wide...
There's just also one thing, and I'm not holding brief for the family of J.S. Bora.
Yes.
I know it was mentioned in the last meeting. It was never really a forensic audit. It came out not a forensic audit. When you do a forensic audit, the intention, and CPAs will correct me, is to prosecute. That's when you do a forensic. It was never like that. And JES, the balance sheets that were there during his time are available with the auditors, and they can be looked at. So there's really no. I think it's unfair when you accuse people who cannot defend themselves.
Yeah.
There's all this issue about credit for the Safari Rally. Safari Rally journey was like a really 4x1 or 4x4, passing the baton. And the people who started this thing is, I was there. Ben Mushemi is a person we owe a lot of credit to that. And no individual can give himself credit. As it is, WRC, we look at the figures, 500 million pending bills for 2022, 300 million pending bills for 2023. It's going to function differently. Cannot be business as usual. But that, I would not even dwell much on that. That is for the CEO, Charles Gasheru. Invite him here, he'll take you through. Best before a certain date is the only solution. You expired, let other people take over, let people inject new blood, let people inject new energy. I can see the enthusiasm. And when you have commissions actually walking out and resigning, there is a problem. When you have drivers boycotting events, there is a problem. On administration, of course, we've partnered with the Ministry of Sports at the Kenya Academy of Sports. So you have a branch of the Motorsport part of it. About 3 weeks ago, we spent a week in Naivasha just creating the modules. Victor Wanyama came from Mathare. Jamaa wa mtaa, mchezo. He was picked up by Mandro. Victor Wanyama went and played for Tottenham Sports. If he was not picked up from Mathare, now look at what he's building in Western Kenya. How many Victor Wanyamas do we have that have the potential from the middle class and the lower middle class? This academy is supposed to, we cannot cater for everybody, but this academy is supposed to be part of it, is to cater. Now, I hope Victor will not sue me for using his name.
No.
People have been saying, I hope we can.
Yeah, emulator.
One or two, a boy and a girl, say this is our Victor Wanyama in motorsport. On and above training the young people. If there are people who should be getting the state awards, it's not the 3 people who got the state awards 2 years ago or so. Abdul Sidi has trained some of the most successful drivers, and he continues to do that. Those are the state people that need to work with, and he's very, very committed to the, to the academy.
Yes.
Obviously, I truly agree with the sentiments of the young and the older drivers. A change is inevitable. You've been seeing the same doctor for this period of time. And Tony, I suggest 6-second alternative, 6-second opinion. We'll give it a try. Yeah? It's not a matter of life and death. Yeah, give it a try. So if this is what is going to be the legacy of building the future of the, and I need to invite you for autocross and motocross.
Yes.
See those youngsters dying for their country. Yeah. In the next couple of weeks, there are people going to Morocco to participate. The youngest will be 6 years old. Ganatra, 16-year-old, competed in the UK about 3 weeks ago. So this is what we are looking at. Can we move back, push back, allow other people? You watch Premier League. Look at the age of the player. Look at the age of the people who are playing. Look at, I won't go back to WRC or Formula One. Look at now the average age of the youngsters. This is what we're creating for them. So there's a lot that can be done. For me, what is killing is impunity, a certain cartel of people who have been there for years and years with nothing new to provide, nothing absolutely new to give, and still holding. And the rules, Tony, rules are bent to suit certain circumstances. People keep on referring to the rule book. Last year, Kenya National Knowledge Championship, the rule book was thrown out of the window. And now you want to come and tell me the rule says this, because it doesn't suit you. It's just a lot of impunity. I have requested, and I want to thank also CS Ababu, as much he's no longer there. He had started to get a grip of the sport. He was very committed. The PS Toom is a wonderful person. We have, reached out to Murkonen. He's been very accommodative. He has welcomed us because he feels this thing can be solved. I am personally, if it means I stepping aside for a better of motorsport, let it be. And everybody else should see the same peace. And really, every time I open my mouth, I know that I'm opening my mouth for an 18-year-old voiceless girl who is competing. So we want to see the academy reach and spread it out of Nairobi. We'd like to see sanity in the sport. It's just people think Matatu's drivers are the only ones who drive with impunity. Let me tell you, we are worse than them. At least them, they show what they are doing. Yes. My daughter always tells me, it's the saddest thing is not being stabbed on the back. The saddest thing is when you turn back and look at who is stabbing, the least expected. Yeah? True. So we are stabbing an 8-year-old driver in autocross. And every time he or she turns back, she sees Mr. X holding that knife. What else do I need to say, Tony? And like you said, we can go on and on and on.
Go on and on, but of course.
Is there, so back to the CS.
As we wind up.
He's committed to the new CS.
Yes, Murkomen.
He's also committed to solving what CS Ababu was trying to solve before he left office. And we have the support of the government. But you know who can make that difference? It's not me. It's those competitors. Is that press conference you're talking about of yesterday? There's an en masse protest and walkout. This is it. Yeah. Is there a future? I want to go back to Eliud Kipchoge. Impossible is nothing. Open your hearts. Humility, yes. What was really called Utu.
Yes.
It can be done. But step aside and allow other people the room to make that difference. My friend who was here last week has been there 21 years in that board of KMSF. Really. And I said, I don't want to talk about him. What else can you offer beyond that, really? Yeah.
Okay.
Give that to Karan Patel.
True.
Thank you so much. And out there, I know a couple of people know my sacrifice, my commitment. So yeah, awards, we got it. It was not me. It was a team that was focused. We had KCB. I'm ashamed to go and knock KCB's door because they know all this that is going on. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Asante.
And I want to assure the funds and the stakeholders belongs to you. You own the title deed of this sport. Transfer that title to wherever you want for a better place.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Maina Muturi. Maina Muturi is, of course, the chairman of the Kenya Motors Federation. Thank you for sharing your insights. I know you've given your best in the motorsport for the longest time I've known you. So keep on fighting. We will be there also to, of course, do our job as the media, as we've always been doing since 2008 when I started loving motorsport. Of course, thanks to Maina Muturi for inviting me to Jamhuri to watch our young boys who are right now the ones who are actually driving the cars. When I used to see them when they were young, now they are older. My good friend Azza Anwar, who also ushered me into the sport. The son now is doing wonders here and outside the country. So basically, I've seen the transformation of most of these drivers from when they were still 10, 6 years. Now they have beards all over. So thank you. And to the entire team. And karibu sana.
You're taking the offer, eh?
Yes, I will
Please
check.
Come.
I will come, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm a motorsport enthusiast, so I'll definitely come. Asante sana.
Yeah.
At this juncture also, we know the Premier League is currently going on. And I know Chelsea, I must remind you, I'm a Chelsea fan. Chelsea beat West Ham at their home.